Hello everybody, this is Glenn Kennedy with project.nsearch.com. I've got a big story. I feel this is the biggest story by far in alternative media, and it's being censored by all the normal gatekeepers that I talk about. We'll talk about that later, but first the story. This is incredible, guys. I actually got a hold of the guy behind this site, getoffthebs.com. I couldn't believe it. He actually called, I got his phone number and was able to talk to him. Got some very, very interesting information, which I'm going to be talking about. But go to that site, spread this around everywhere. Get this to the real good people in alternative media that don't censor anything. And I respect people like Luke Radowski and people at Intel Hub and things like that. But there's very few out there that will have no censorship at all. And I know that We Are Change actually came to the party and reported from this website before, and so did G. Edward Griffin. Hats off to everybody. And guys, force this story out there, expose all those that censor it too. But go to this site, getoffthebs.com, or you can search for it on Google, Failed Trump Assassin Michael Sanford Trained with Omar Mateen. So I'm going to pull up that article. And this is the hottest story. The guy behind this website, his name is Tig. He goes by Tig, T-Y-G. It's just a nickname. He's trying to keep as hidden as possible. He's had so many death threats, and he does not want his voice out there. Otherwise, I would actually have an interview with him, which would be awesome. But he does not want that. But he says that I could report anything that he told me pretty much. And I'm going to report some of it. Some of it I wasn't sure if he won out there, so I'm not going to say everything I heard. But guys, this is huge. Get this everywhere. Anybody in alternative media, I urge you to make videos and articles about this information, spread it around, because guys, we have to stick together on this. And that's one of the things that Tig told me, is that he said, the problem is that the alternative media doesn't cooperate. You got some people censoring huge stories, and then you got the real people like me and others that don't censor anything, but a lot of times we're not able to communicate effectively, and so there's stories like this that go under the radar, and that's one thing that he wants to change. He wants people to unify and destroy this fake news. Okay, guys, he told me that this story could literally bring Hillary Clinton down. He also told me that from what he knows, that there is no way in heck that Hillary Clinton's going to be indicted. He says that's just not going to happen. She's too protected, so forget about that. It's not going to happen. We're going to have to force this out there because we know the fake news. And by the way, he told me that Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, Megyn Kelly, they all called him. They all know him. They all get information, but of course, very few of them ever put out anything at all. So I don't even know why they're calling him, because they don't do anything but put out fake news. Anyway, he's in contact with Trump even. He knows Trump. And I'm not going to tell who else he knows, but he has gotten threats. I'll leave it at that. So let's go through this article, and it's a shocker, guys. Basically, he's got the proof that this whole Orlando shooting is FBI, CIA, and involves the highest people in our government. And this shooter that tried to kill Trump, this Michael Stephen Sanford, guess what? He's involved in it, and he's been talking with people in our own government. This is the biggest story since JFK, and it's being censored by the fakes out there, the Michael Savages, and I'll go into the others later. But okay, I'm going to just read part. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read parts of it. Information has come to light. The suspected assassin, Michael Stephen Sanford, who recently attempted to assassinate Donald Trump at a recent Las Vegas rally, was trained by undercover FBI agents posing as Islamic terrorists, alongside Omar Mateen and James Howell. And James Howell was the guy they arrested that was going to supposedly blow up the gay pride parade in Los Angeles area. Recent information has come to light stemming from a recent Fox News story and an interview with James Wesley Howell. And side note, they basically have the only interview of Howell, and you'll find out the information here in a second. So this interview links Omar Mateen, James Wesley Howell, and Michael Sanford as members of a large U.S. terror organization that targets emotionally troubled young men and women to commit terrorist acts in the U.S. Preceding the police shooting of Mateen in Orlando and the arrest of Howell in Santa Monica prior to his participation in a planned attack on the Gay Pride Parade in Hollywood, California, Get Off the BS learned and reported that both Mateen and Howell had been recruited through an online social media course dubbed Fundamental Islamic Knowledge Seminary Course. Fox News recently reported that according to FBI Director James Comey, Mateen was a follower of a controversial gang leader turned bank robber, Marcus Dwayne Robertson, who has been identified by the FBI and Homeland Security as a recruiter for terrorists and for his repeated acts of inciting violence. Although Fox did not report a connection between Mateen, Howell, and Sanford, Howell's statements in Santa Monica and to Santa Monica police officers at the time of his arrest and a recent interview at the L.A. County Jail with Howell and Brenda Corpian, a reporter for Get Off the BS, have brought some very disturbing facts to light. We are all familiar with each other through an online fundamentalist Islamic knowledge seminary course, and this is coming from Howell. We were recruited through the course and trained together at a camp in Virginia. We were taught how to shoot and make bombs. Everybody knew their part. Something went wrong, said Howell at the time of his arrest in Santa Monica. Okay, this is the really good stuff, guys. This is when they got a lawyer, Brenda Corpian, to go into the jail and get information before she was thrown out. When interviewed at the LACG, LA County Jail, by our staff attorney and investigative reporter Brenda Corpian, Howell further elaborated on his original statements. Brenda was allowed to speak with Howell as a licensed attorney considering representing him. Brenda: You originally mentioned 3 other people you went through training with. However, you only mentioned the names of 2 people you trained with. Do you now remember who the 3rd person was? Your guy got that effed up. I told the cops that I knew I trained with 4 other people, not 3. We were part of one group. There were at least 8 groups that we seen, maybe more. Do you know what kind of activity these other groups were trained for? I don't know. Probably the same crap we were learning. I mean, we sometimes trained together on some stuff. What kind of training did you receive at the camp? What did you train with others to do? The usual stuff, I guess. Making pipe bombs, mixing chemicals, military crap. James, could you be more specific? What do you mean by military expletive? Were you ever in the military? No, I never made that trip, but I have seen a lot of deep crap. I think everyone had his or own thing going on. They taught several of us how to shoot. Others were told how to blow crap up. And I'm, of course, substituting words here because I don't want to cuss in this video. All of us had to take our turns in the gas room. The gas room? Yes, it was really effed up. We had to go in this room with gas masks and take them off after they shot the gas in. It was jacked up. It appears that Howell and others were trained, that he was trained with, went through an abbreviated version of what Army dubs basic training. Additionally, it appears that selective training was given to others for specific assignments. Howell and Omar were trained to handle automatic weapons and explosives. Howell witnessed at least 5 other people being trained to shoot what Howell described as long rifles, most likely sniper rifles. Howell identifies Sanford, suspect in assassination of Donald Trump in L.A., in Las Vegas. This is just a mind blower here, guys. We all called Dan the chemist. He seemed to get off to making bombs and setting things on fire. I remember a time when one of his firecrackers came within inches of blowing some ball bearings through Michael's legs. Man, that Brit was pissed, he said. Brit? Who is Michael? The guy in Vegas. Weird mother effer. We called him the Brit because he was from England or someplace like that. We went and partied one night with him. He was a nice beamer. He has a nice beamer. I'm not sure what I understand. What do you mean by the guy in Vegas? Beamer. Do you mean BMW? The guy they arrested for trying to grab that cop's gun to shoot Trump with. Yeah, BMW, you know, Beamer. I'm into lowered Hondas and Acuras. I have a sweet ride. If I ever get out of here, maybe we can go for a... Hal definitely made it clear while he was talking to Brenda that he knew Michael Sanford, recently arrested at a Trump rally for trying to disarm a Las Vegas Metropolitan police officer, a gun Sanford later claimed to the U.S. Secret Service he would have used to shoot Trump. Brenda reported that during the time she talked to Howell, he seemed scared one moment, and at the other moments he was flirting with her. It was obvious to Brenda that Howell was very scared of what might happen to him while in custody, but tried to add levity to the conversation to appear somewhat tough. Brenda wrote in her story that I, quote, doubt very seriously that the recent reports that Howell is bisexual are accurate. The whole time I talked to him, his eyes were glued to my breasts. He made no attempt to hide the fact that he was turned on by my chest. According to Howell, he first came in contact with Iman Abu Tabu, a.k.a. Marcus Robertson, a former Marine who is the leader of what Howell believed was an ISIS cell group training and operating in the U.S. Howell, Mateen, and Sanford were allegedly recruited by Robertson through an online fundamentalist Islamic knowledge seminary course which Robertson conducts. I had no idea that the CIA was involved until I arrived at the camp in Virginia with others to start our training. I have read about places like the camp, but it was not what I was expecting. I don't think anyone else was expecting it either. Howell was unsure of exactly how many people were at the camp with him and or what particular missions, if any, the other recruits were being trained for. People came in and out. Omar, Dan, and me were always together. We knew what we were supposed to do. It appears Howell and his fellow conspirators were told very clearly to keep their mouths shut about what they were going to do and to not ask others about their assignment roles, if any. Brenda's interview came to an end when someone at the jail abruptly shut off the phones Hal and her were speaking through. Although it is normal procedure for a client, Hal and their attorney, to talk in privacy in an interview room, the authorities, despite Brenda's license to practice law in California, would not allow Brenda to speak with Hal in an attorney-client interview room. Additionally, the phone interview should not have been monitored, which is obviously it was, after Hal had already described two people and was halfway through naming the last name of a third person. The phone system was shut off, and Brenda was rudely escorted out of the building. And here he's got a picture of this is huge, guys. He isn't really coming out outright and saying who these people are, but he's giving you hints. Senator, former Clinton aide, and high-ranking federal law enforcement agent have regularly met with Robertson. Brenda, you have mentioned Dan, Omar, and Michael. Did you recognize anyone else that may have previously been seen on TV or read about? How? They often met with Abu. They seemed especially interested in Michael. The senator was often accompanied by a woman who I have seen on television hundreds of times. She doesn't work for the government anymore, but I think her husband does. Yeah, her name is Who. End of interview. Who? Could that be Huma? We shall soon see. According to Brenda's report, Howell claims that Robertson was seen several times meeting with a current U.S. Senator, a high-ranking member of Homeland Security, and was releasing the name of a woman that we have a good idea of her identity from his description of her and what was heard of her name before the interview was ended. Frankly, both Brenda and I are completely convinced that Howell was completely honest with her, are not completely convinced that Howell was completely honest with her during the interview. However, many things Howell said are consistent with the recent Fox News report, Robertson, and a 365 USA News report concerning some very strange recruitment activities that are being done by the FBI, according to FBI director James Comey. However, we are completely convinced that Howell definitely knows Sanford because at the time of her interview with Howell, he mentioned several pieces of information that included specific information concerning the vehicle Sanford drove to Las Vegas, which had not yet been reported before Brenda's interview with Howell. Brenda was concerned Howell may have embellished part of his story to impress her. Then it goes on to say, we are not the first news source to reveal the questionable activities of Robertson and the FBI. And it talks about Fox News posting an article about it and everything else. And I wanted to get down to the very bottom here because this is kind of a little summary. And guys, they beat this attorney just about to death. In fact, when I talked to Tig, he said that he thinks that they thought she was dead and they put her in a dumpster. Here's that information. Folks, we are a small blog with an audience of about 48,000 regular visitors per day, and that's a big audience, guys. Our group is comprised of college-educated individuals, 2 with licenses to practice law, and 1 who can practice both medicine and law. A former source of ours assisted us with an article we previously released about Ted Cruz. He died under suspicious circumstances in Indiana 3 days after releasing a story on his own blog, where he wrote that if his story was correct, he would most likely disappear or be found dead. And that guy was found dead in a stairwell with 3 shots to the head, and they said it was suicide. That's what Tig told me. And I remember that story. I remember they talking about it. I don't remember where I read it, but I remember that it was thought that he was working about a story on Ted Cruz. Here's the part about the lawyer. Brenda Corpian was found beaten within an inch of her life and left to die in a dumpster 15 hours after her interview with Howell. She is currently heavily guarded by our private security in a hospital ICU with a poor prognosis for recovery. We believe that she was beaten and disposed of in a trash dumpster, presumably dead, by the hands of her assailants because of her knowledge of the names Howell revealed to her during his interview. None of us earn any money or compensation from our efforts to promote Donald Trump. Our website does not contain any paid advertising, nor paid affiliate links to other sites with paid advertising. We do not ask for and or accept donations. Although we receive hundreds of tips daily with information that is often newsworthy, we rarely use any information that does not come from mainstream media sources or from sources that we cannot verify the reliability of the information from. We will not publish the names of Howell released to Brenda. The people who Howell identified, especially the woman, are tied to literally hundreds of questionable deaths and suspicious disappearances of people who had associations with them. If you are a journalist whose identity can be verified as working for a mainstream media source, please contact us for further information regarding this story. However disturbing what we have published in the article may be, what we have omitted may be the biggest cover-up concerning government-sponsored terror in this country. May God protect us all from the Obama administration. For those attempting to vet this story, please advise the name Brenda Corpian and the names of others used to promote this website are fictitious names. So they try to protect people so that they can't even get more heat on them. But guys, I had a great conversation with the guy behind this, and I was very, very surprised I was able to reach him last night. Like he told me, he had 30,000 emails, and I was one of the few that he was able to get back to, probably because I was on the top of the list or something. So I wanted to tell you just a few other things that he told me. Obviously, he did say that he actually pays money for this website. He does not make any money. They actually spend thousands of dollars a month just to put these stories out. He's a super patriot. He's known Donald Trump, I believe he told me, about 30 years. And he's getting calls from mainstream people all over the place, but I wish those mainstream people would actually do their job and report this information, because it's going to be up to us, guys. It's up to the alternative media. I want you to get this story out everywhere. And it was funny because I did ask him about what he thought about Alex Jones, and he called him an MFer, and basically called him a shill, and that he censors all the hardcore truth, just like I told you guys for so long now, because I used to support this guy, and I've given this guy thousands of dollars when I thought he was real. But this is the guy, agent in place Alex Jones. And what pisses me off too is I'm going to put this information out to the Before It's News people. I put my stories out there. I get so sick and tired of these shills on Before It's News that only promote Alex Jones. Nothing else. They won't promote these guys that have the biggest story in the country right now. They won't promote Jim Fetzer, who proved that Sandy Hook was a FEMA drill. And what happened? Alex Jones's reporter, Don Salazar, actually reported on it, and Jones spiked the story and took it out of the Google cache. Guys, we have to expose Alex Jones, and if you're listening to this guy, you're part of the problem. You need to be dominating Jones. When you see an Alex Jones story, you need to be putting the comments in here on what he's hiding over here on Get Off the BS. You need to be putting comments on the proof from Jim Fetzer that nobody died at Sandy Hook in that book that was banned. It was called Nobody Died at Sandy Hook. They took it off Amazon. Why? Because he had the smoking gun proof that showed the mainstream was nothing but lies. So here Jones has the opportunity to destroy the fake news on that story and again on this story, as well as many other stories. And what does he do? He censors. He's an agent in place. I call out all Alex Jones fans to wake the heck up and get out there and expose all people that censor. All of them. Sean Hannity, Michael Savage, the Shills, the Tucker Carlsons, the Drudge. All these people that censor are not your buddies, guys. They're the reason that we're still losing the fight, because we've got the information, as you've just seen, that can take the entire system down. And what does Jones do? He pulls his punches. He makes sure that you don't get the smoking guns, while he blames the Saudi Arabians for 9/11 when everybody knows it was the Mossad that did 95% of it. It's just stuff like this, and I'm sick of it, guys. I'm sick of it, and I hope you're getting sick of it too, because here's another story that if Jones was a patriot, he'd be making stories about this, and we'd destroy this official fairy tale with his 30 million weekly listeners or whatever he claims now. But is he going to do it? Is he going to come to the good side of the force and throw off the Darth Vader mask? Is he going to do it? No, I don't think so. I guarantee you that he won't do it. And you know what? All you people listening to my voice that promote his stuff on Before It's News, and that's all you do is promote his stuff, I say shame on you. You're a traitor. You're a traitor to this republic. You're a traitor for pushing anybody that censors the truth that can win this fight. How dare you? I put my contact information on all my articles. I dare any one of you to contact me. So far, not a single one of you wants to get on the phone with me to wake up about Jones. Why is that? Are you on payroll too? I think so, because not a one of you has the guts to call me and tell me that Alex Jones is going to save us, because you know I'll destroy you. So my challenge is to anybody that promotes Jones, you call me up. You send me an email. I'll give you my direct cell phone, and you can come tell me how Alex Jones, the censoring guy, the stooge for the Mossad, along with Drudge, you tell me how he's going to fix this thing and how it's okay that you support him, but you won't support Jim Fetzer and all the patriots over at this site right here. Get Off the BS. How dare you? How dare you guys? And one last thing. You want to see how fake... oh, by the way, This guy Tig also told me that Larry Nichols is a shill, guys, like I've been telling you, like Stu Webb reported. He's so mad at Larry Nichols because he says that he's a cover-up meister for the Clintons and he's fake. And who does Jones have on the time? Larry Nichols. You guys want to see how fake Larry Nichols is? We got the recorded proof. All you got to do is go to YouTube, type in what this video says right here. It's by Stu Webb. It's on his YouTube channel, Stu Webb 1. It says, Larry Nichols, search for this. Larry Nichols exposes Clinton crimes of money laundering, drugs, and more. Go to the last 5 minutes of that. Larry Nichols admits that he money laundered drug money for the Clintons. Right there, there's no statute of limitations on money laundering on drug money, basically. So what does that mean? That means that right now, if he wanted to, Larry Nichols could put Hillary Clinton in jail. But is he going to do it? No. He's going to get on Alex Jones and go get $800 from little old ladies for surgeries that he's not having that Stu found out about. This guy is fake. He's a cover-up meister. He brings out the stuff that won't get her put in jail, and he hides, and he won't testify, and he won't actually put her in jail. Why? Because he's a Mossad asset, just like Tom Hennigan and Stu Webb have reported. And this guy's sitting there ripping off people, and you guys believe him. He's not going to do anything to Hillary Clinton. He's a fake and a phony, and this video shows it. Because in the last 5 minutes, he admits that he could put Hillary Clinton in jail. And if he's going to die anyway, and he has this big thing that he wants to put Hillary in jail, then why not just go ahead and put out the truth that he was involved with money laundering with Clinton, and he could go up to the Trump microphone tomorrow and say that he did it and he's coming clean and he's going to put her in jail. But he's not going to do it. No, he's going to keep ripping off little old ladies with the help of Alex Jones. Anyway, guys, sorry for the rant. You know how I feel about Jones. The main point of this, though, no matter who you support out there, make sure they censor nothing. Get my video out. And if you're in alternative media, make your own articles, make your own videos. This isn't a competition with me. I support everybody that doesn't censor. And if you want to work with me, contact me through my contact information on my articles. I will respond to everybody. I don't hide like people in alternative media do. Many of them that are stooges. So get this information out, guys. I want you to post it on your... And here's the key, guys. Facebook censors a lot of stuff. When you like stuff, make sure you friend me. You can find me on facebook.com/Glenn, GLENN.CANADY, Glenn.Kennedy. I friend anybody that won't censor me and that will basically make sure I can contact them outside of the control grid. So friend me on Facebook, but post this article, post these videos on your Facebooks, on your Twitters, send to all email lists, and tell all your friends to do the same. They can stop you, but they can't stop everybody going nuts out there and spreading this information. That's all I got, guys. It's a huge story. I've got to get this video out because it's already getting late on Friday. So make this the biggest story of the weekend and get it out everywhere. Thanks so much for your support, and I'll be talking to you real soon.